SMT Nation, we back. We've got a big video about T-Mobile here. I listened to about 40 minutes of this UBS 50th Annual Global TMT Conference, in which the presenter, the interviewer, was speaking to CEO and president of the company, Mike Sievert. You guys know Eugene, aka Sweaty Armpits. And there were some really interesting little tidbits, a lot about the business that we are kind of concerned about, things that we like to know about the company. So I got that for you here in this video so you don't have to listen to 40 minutes. All right. So let's do it in like 8 minutes. All right. I want to make sure I put this out there. I'm liking what I'm hearing out of the T Mobile CEO. Here are the things that he speaks to. He speaks of the love of the company for its customers, dedication to customers, their position in leadership, winning in 5G after losing LTE. There's some honesty in the things he says. Now, there are some lies in the things he says, but he's selling his company and he's selling his network and he's selling his brand and all of that, right? It all comes with it. All right. He spoke to the value for customers and what the company offers as a big investment into the customers. Additionally, he spoke to closing the Verizon network leadership perception gap. He also threw a jab at Verizon for price hikes and claims that people no longer have to negotiate network and price so they can have both. And he also threw in a quote, "We don't do price increases." I think that bodes well for T-Mobile customers and the market as a whole. In a time where AT&T and Verizon are likely going to raise prices again with economic adjustment fees and telco fees and all that other nonsense, T-Mobile's not going to do it. I don't think they will. Even after the 3-year agreement with the merger, I don't think they're going to raise pricing. I really don't. We're hearing messaging from the company that they won't do it. I think at some point that really just starts to drive home. There's confidence there for the consumer. We'll see how that plays out, but that's the vibes I'm getting. He also mentioned a couple of things that are interesting. They're learning how to take share in rural America, right? That's Verizon country. That's even AT&T country in some instances, right? Now T-Mobile is learning how to take share. That's interesting. We'll come back to that. They are working to try their goal at the lowest industry churn. Net promoter scores continue to improve in T-Mobile's favor. So the things that T-Mobile has struggled with for basically the last decade, they're starting to fix. Additionally, about the network piece, he said it's largely complete. There is a reduction in capex that is imminent, guiding down to $8 to $9 billion for 2023. This is a lower number compared to like Sprint merger and integration years of the last couple of years, where it peaked at about 13 billion with an average around 11 or 11.5 billion. Mentioned a little bit about the network relative to the 5G UC. They're going to continue to work towards the goal of 300 million pops, also working towards 200 megahertz of 5G UC expected to be on air by the end of next year. This sounds to me like it's a combination of N41 and N77 assets. They have licenses in C-band 3700 and the DoD 3400 frequencies in N77. So they've been active in the last couple of auctions. Now, the big emphasis for them was consumer growth, and this is what investors like to hear. When investors invest in T-Mobile, it's a growth story. This is what they care about. Fresh off the heels of a Q3, their biggest switching quarter ever, and Mike Sievert insinuated that the trend is going to continue. It's positive for them. They're outgrowing everyone in the industry, relentless in growth and winning. They're infatuated and obsessed with that. Smaller markets, rural America will be their focus. The business segment, where Verizon and AT&T have 90% of the share, they're going to be focusing on that in places where people traditionally didn't really consider T-Mobile, right? They already win in the big 50, right? The major markets. They're focusing on the next 50. Sprint churn seems to have settled according to him. They have this program called License to Play. This is interesting. This is where they run analyses. And what they do is they analyze markets where if they just put in advertising dollars, marketing dollars, retail footprint, they invest money into a market so that they can break through in the market. And it's places where they have low share, but they could potentially take share with that push. So they've got a metric where they indicate I don't know, that value was like at 30% of markets qualified for that license to play. Now they're at 50% based on their current positioning. So that's really good for rural America if they're looking for a new competitor, not just AT&T, not just Verizon. Bring T-Mobile into the fold. The network previously has been the problem. It's hindered them, but appears to not really be an issue as they proclaim that they are the network leader. Now, in regards to the test drive, when asked about this, he said it helps them in a way because it allows them to kind of facilitate switching and get customers ported over. And they love their competitive chances in the marketplace with the switcher pool. In terms of businesses and agencies, they say they're growing there. They're starting to see good ads. Churn is now dropping in those segments. T-Mobile believes that they can win in this space with their 5G network. MEC, Mobile Edge Computing, SA 5G, Advanced 5G Networking. They feel like their leadership there allows them to break through in those segments. And two more things that are kind of around the network, I guess, and also with the fixed wireless access. They're tracking to hit their 7 to 8 million customers by 2025. They believe that they're going to get there easily. They're already doing 500,000 net adds each quarter, and oftentimes they're doing more than that. Their net promoter scores are high. They still have places that they can't offer it due to capacity constraints, but word of mouth is helping them. They do anticipate that there will be quarters where they might have some elevated churn, but they'll deal with that as it comes, and they expect that to just be situational. He says that, and I'm not buying this one. We have some advantages over fiber when it comes to pace, scale, and availability. Nothing's better than fiber. I don't know why he said that, but anyways, Magenta MAX and ARPU. And speaking about this, he used a really interesting phrase. He said, a substantial minority is upgrading to Magenta MAX when they switch to us. All right, so I got two problems with that. First, what the hell is a substantial minority? Number two, the second thing is you're getting people on Magenta MAX that are coming from other companies like, say, for example, AT&T and Verizon, but you can't get your loyal fan base, your loyal customers to upgrade to Magenta Max. I think that's concerning. That's really the same problem that Hans Vestberg has at Verizon, right? And it's also troubling for AT&T too. They have the same issues, right? Nothing is immune in this economic place, and you know, the old loyal T-Mobile customer, they're tighter, you know what I mean, than the customers coming from Verizon and AT&T. Last piece I'll leave you with, the fiber piece. He offered nothing on fiber. It looks like they're playing their cards close to their chest, right? They're not sure. They don't want to show their cards. I don't even know how much is really going on there. But he says that it's an industry that is expensive and crowded. They do remain open and interested in it, especially if there's ways for them to make money. That's a very generic and bland, cookie cutter answer. But notable because he was asked about fiber, and that's been a talk lately about that. I just don't see much happening for fiber anytime soon. That's just my take, and I'm not getting those vibes from them. When he says things like, "Yeah, as long as it makes us money, yeah, we're into that." Yeah, well, whatever. Who isn't? So that's the stuff from the conference. What do you guys think of all that? Anything intriguing? Anything you want to speak to? Comment down below. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Thanks for sticking around and watching the whole video. You guys are the best. Shout out to the patrons and the YouTube subscribers. You guys are great. Thank you for all that you do. Leave you with some words of positivity here. Every new day is an opportunity to be great. Go out there and be great. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Peace.